What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Steep Stuff Podcast. I'm your host, James Lariello, and today we've got a really fun one we're going to jump right into. None other than the pride of Boulder, Colorado. Mr. Johnny Luna Lima joins the podcast. The North Face athlete comes on to talk all about his plans for 2025, as well as his outstanding seasons, I should say, in 2023 and 2024, taking the dub in 2023 at the Rut 28K and then running a top 5 place in 2024. Arguably the hardest mountain race in the country. Johnny absolutely earns the moniker of one of the best mountain runners in the country, as well as arguably one of the best technical downhillers in the country too, which is pretty badass. We talk about all kinds of fun things. We really get into process. Johnny is a very process-oriented guy. We talk about time in the gym. We talk about how he approaches the game like a consummate professional he is. We talk about diet. We talk about a lot of things, even his OCC career, which was a lot of fun. It was a blast. One of my favorite podcasts. Like I said, I just love the process aspect of it and just kind of learning how Johnny ticks and just how he approaches everything like a professional. So I'm going to stop mumbling. I'm going to get to it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. None other than Johnny Luna Lima.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Johnny Luna Lima, welcome to the Steep Stuff Podcast, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. How's your day going?
It's good. Woke up, slept in a bit, went for a little run and scramble, and then got a coffee, and then had lunch, and now I'm here.
Really? Dude,
Yeah.
what a nice relaxing day, dude.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah.
Well, dude, congratulations. I know it was just North Face had just announced it for officially being on the North Face team, which is friggin' really cool.
Yeah.
So congrats to that. That's awesome. This is kind of lined up perfectly with the podcast. So
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm psyched. North Face definitely has felt like a home for me this year. Like every time I hang out with the people there, like I leave like feeling stoked and like inspired to like keep growing as a mountain athlete and trail runner and all that. So I feel like that's a good sign whenever you're working with a company. You know, it's like I feel like when you hang out with them, you want to leave with good vibes rather than the opposite. So yeah,
Hell
I'll
yeah,
take
dude.
it.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
pumped. Yeah.
Right on, man. So, dude, who's Johnny Luna Lima?
Good question. I feel like that's a ever evolving thing. Just because that's what humans do. But I guess like Johnny Luna Lima right now is a curious trail runner and mountain athlete, but like also psyched on connecting with new people, like people I already know, and just exploring just all sorts of interests parallel to running and climbing and hanging out with my friends and family. Yeah.
I love that. How did you get into the sport?
So I guess growing up, my dad was like always a big runner, marathoner. So then I'd hop into just like the local 5K or like whatever race he was doing, but the shorter version. But like all growing up, like I played soccer and that was like my thing. Like I was like, oh yeah, like doesn't matter. I'm gonna be a pro soccer player. So like, yeah, this is what I do. But then I turned like 18 and then I got really burnt out from soccer, which was real heartbreaking. But like, I don't know, something in me was like, fuck, I just can't do this anymore. Like, it's not it's not allowing me to be the best version of myself, I think, which is really too bad because like at the end of the day, it's just a game. And I feel like if I would have treated it like a game, like things could have gone really differently. But then, yeah, I don't remember if I was 18 or 19, but like shortly after deciding to stop playing, I saw Spartan races on TV. And I was like, oh shit, like this is wild. Like I think I could do this stuff. Like I just didn't know why, but like I thought I could do this stuff like well for some reason. And then yeah, a couple months later I was doing my first Spartan race in Las Vegas. And that kind of spiraled. I did that for a couple of years and then just training for like their world championships and like that they at the time they had a lot of races in the mountains. I like got into you ultimately like get into like lots of running because if you want to do obstacle course racing well, you got to be able to run because most of the race is running in between obstacles. So then like I was spending a lot of time on trails at the time in the East Bay, California. Lots of time on Mount Diablo and Truckee, Tahoe area. And just like I guess that slowly grew into like a passion for trail running and moving through mountains in general. And like slowly I discovered like the Skyrunner series, discovered this dude named Killian Jornet.
That guy.
Got super psyched and I was like, it's funny because like when I first like when you I don't know, at the time I was like 20, 21, I was like, who is this guy? Like, why does everyone make such a big deal of this like dude? And like at the time his Strava was completely public and like I would see these like runs that are like 6 miles of 4,000 feet. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like it's so slow. It's like 12-minute miles or whatever. And then like, I don't know. And then like, as you learn, you're like, oh shit, like this is the guy. But yeah, I guess that's kind of how I got into trail running. And I guess what keeps me in trail running is like the just curiosity of what my potential is. And just like the simplicity of it, like it can be super fun, like super social, and just like the way it allows me to explore mountains and just be in them, and yeah, just like follow the stoke, really. Yeah.
What position did you play at soccer?
I was a wingback.
Okay.
Left or right side.
I was left.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I played soccer a lot. I mean, like all the way up until college, and I broke an ankle and
shit.
didn't do it anymore. But yeah, it was. I loved soccer. I grew up in South Florida, where like soccer culture is heavy.
Yeah.
What's your team? What are you? Are you Brazil fan or what are you?
Yeah. No, Brazil fan. I like getting my heart broken every couple of years.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Brazil fan. But I guess in Europe, like I grew up in Germany, so I'm a big I grew up in Munich, so like big Bayern fan. When they're rolling, it's always fun, and I feel like they get good roles pretty consistently.
Yeah, it's fair.
Always enjoy Barcelona. But yeah, I'd say those are my European teams.
So you grew up in Germany. What was that experience like?
It was great. I highly recommend it. Like if anyone's raising their children in the U.S., like you should try going to Germany for it.
Were you a military brat or?
No. My dad had just a tech company that was expanding. So then we ended up in Germany. I was 4 years old when we moved there, and then stayed until I was 10.
Oh, wow.
And it's like I guess like that like picturesque childhood like you kind of like see on TV or like read in books, like where like the homies just mob around on their bikes like when they're in like I don't know, first, second grade.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like really. It was really cool, you know, like it was like a really safe area. So like growing up, we would like get off school or on the weekend, just you'd ride your bike to your friend's house and then like scoop up that friend, go to the next friend's house, and then like we had a bunch of lakes nearby, so we'd hang out at the lakes, ride our bikes, play lots of soccer, you know. So like really fortunate, really good memories.
Picturesque childhood, yeah, that's dope, dude.
Yeah.
Can you speak German?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
So wow. So Germany, and then what did you do? Your formative years in America then, or?
Yeah. I guess so. Like I did. So I guess may as well start from the beginning. I was born in Brazil, and then when I was like 2, we moved to the U.S. for 2 years, and then from 4 to 10, I was in Germany. And then like right around middle school, we moved back to the US. I did middle school in the US and then did like 2.5 years or so in Brazil of high school. And then my senior year, I came to the US just to make sure I could like go to the college here and like make that really smooth transition. And then I've been in the US since.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How did you end up in Boulder?
In Boulder? I graduated college, and at the time I was doing obstacle course racing, and like I had a couple friends living out here, and I was like, may as well go to Boulder. And like I had no idea like how good like the stuff was here, like the climbing, scrambling, and trail running in general. But like I was just moving here because like I had friends that like trained out here, and like I figured, it'd be cool to just have people to do stuff with. But like it was never really like, I never saw it as this like mecca for like mountain movement. And then like the longer I've been here, I was like, oh shit, this place is good. Like, yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah. So that's how I moved to Boulder. It was all because of obstacle course racing. Yeah.
So I know you speak highly of Killian Jornet, but like I would even say, dude, like your Strava is a great follow. Like you do some wild shit. Like it's amazing. I'm in Colorado Springs, and like we don't have a lot of scrambling options, if you will. Like got the incline for hiking or for run/hike and strength and stuff like that. But like I don't know, like all the wild scramble shit you do is like really inspiring and super. I don't know if you want more Strava followers, but go follow Johnny on Strava. Dude, what inspired that? Like
yeah, I mean, like scrambling's always been something, scrambling and just mountain movement has always been something that like is really like the foundation of like my curiosity for many years, like even when I was obstacle course racing. But I guess like the biggest limiting factor to like really diving into it sooner was like the want and need to like really do well in like certain races and like try to develop as a runner. But then like, I don't know, I feel like last year or like maybe in the year before, like I was like slowly building up all this like pent up like, oh my freaking God, I need to learn how to do this stuff or else like I'm never going to be able to live with myself. So like, I guess that's like that's like a really weird inspiration, but like more just the curiosity. Like, I don't know, like I always like, I'd see videos of people like just doing this stuff and I'd be like, damn, that looks like really cool. And then like as soon as like I started doing it, like it kind of just like felt really playful and fun. And it's just like kind of just like kept the ball rolling from there. You know, like I feel like every time I scramble, it's always like ends up being a pretty solid, happy vibe. Like of course, like anything else you do a lot, like there are days that are less good and euphoric than others, you know, but that's just part of doing something a lot. But like now it's just like, I'm happy that it's like part of my process, you know, and it's like part of like the athlete I'm becoming. And I feel like there's no going back.
Yeah. Dude, I love it. And the style is just awesome. I mean, now you train with CTS, right? As your coaches?
Yeah. I train with Jason Koop.
You're Koop. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what do you guys do? Is it more like heart rate based? Like, are you more like...
No, it's all RPE based.
Okay.
But like we do fluctuate between like various intensities, like I guess VO2, like threshold work, steady state, and easy running, endurance running, and like recovery days. Yeah,
so typical stuff.
Yeah.
It's interesting. How do you... How long have you been working with Koop?
I linked with him, like I first met him end of 2021, and then we officially started working together beginning of 22.
Okay. So that was before your, like, the reason I say that is because you had this breakthrough in 23 at the Rut where you won the 28K.
Yeah.
Which was, we'll talk about that in a little bit, which is amazing performance. But I was just curious because it's, to build up to that and get to that level is just amazing. So
yeah. What
was that like winning the 28K? I mean, is that like life changing for you or?
No, I guess like I hesitate. Like it's awesome, of course. Like the Run the Rut is like one of like the U.S. test pieces in mountain running. You know, I feel like we only have a couple, and like
that's like one of the races.
Yeah, like I feel really grateful and fortunate, and like I've been at the Rut like 4 times, and like the Rut definitely feels like home. You know, it's like like it's a really cool course. Like I'd consider it like a really sexy course as far as courses go. So yeah, no, it's definitely like etched into my memory as like a really happy day. And like almost like hey, like there can be room for me in this sport if I want it, but like I got to grind and work hard, like I feel like it's maybe like it was like the closing point of a chapter, but opening of a new one. Let's put it that way. Yeah. That's what I would describe it as. Yeah.
Interesting, man. I mean, I just can remember it. Like I followed the sport very close.
Yeah.
And I'll be at the Rut next year. I was going to go this year to go do the VK, and I did the Cirque series all summer, and I was like, tired out. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I just felt it was an amazing performance, and what a cool race. Like,
yeah,
I know there's not that many things, if any, in the lower 48 that have anything like that. It's very unique.
I feel like Alaska has a couple of hidden gems.
Yeah.
But they're a different animal.
Yeah. What'd you think of Meet the Minotaur? I haven't been out there either yet.
Meet the Minotaur, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's sick. I highly recommend, like, if you enjoy moving through mountains, like, it's by no means, like, I hesitate to call it a mountain running race because it's, like, so much mountain movement. Like, there's so much, like, it'll be flat, but, like, you're not running. You're, like, traversing, like, rugged terrain. Like if I were to compare the Rut and Minotaur is so much more technical.
Really?
Like step for step, yeah.
You could run the Rut technically. Like there's a lot of running.
Yeah, the Rut is like a true jack of all trades mountain race, which is awesome. But Meet the Minotaur, like it does demand like a more technical skill set in a way. Like you need to be like ready to like, I guess like well versed in being able to hike well, and then like it's not downhill running, it's descending. It's like it's a different movement pattern than you would encounter like a Broken Arrow Sky Race or like a Run the Rut. Run the Rut has like two significant like solidly technical sections, but Meet the Minotaur is like a different animal.
Yeah,
you have that like, I guess in that race you have like 4 major climbs and descents, and like all 4 of those are just as technical or more technical than the Rut. Yeah.
How do you break? This is interesting to me because you seem very structured with the way you break down a race. Like you know exactly what's coming, and and you seem very like you know how to prepare for these things in a lot of ways. Yeah. Are you a very specific trainer, if you will? Like, do you do a lot of specificity in your training to get ready for these things?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'd say like my prep for Minotaur was. Well, I guess like there's like different angles of specificity. There's the physiological specificity, like what is the physiology that my body needs to put out on race day to be successful, and then there's like the specificity of terrain. So then like the physiology itself, like I like leave to Koop, and like we obviously like talk about it. Like Meet the Minotaur is like around a 4-hour race, and that's I feel like it's like interesting mix of like lots of steady state and thresholdy running, whereas the Rut is a lot more like threshold, and like you need to be ready to like feel like you're revving really hot in points, so it is slightly different. But then but yeah, to answer your question, like I do get like kind of pretty specific in the weeds, especially with like making sure like I have the movement patterns dialed that I'm going to be using in that race.
Yeah.
It's
interesting. The reason I say this because like so Eli and Tabor are my coaches.
Yeah.
So this is something like I feel like I leave the physiology, like the pyramid, if you will, like the training, the pyramid up to them, but it's the specificity part that is up to me on how specific I want to get. Yeah. Do you communicate that with Koop? Like,
yeah.
Like, all right, like as you get closer to the race, you're getting more specific on what you're doing.
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
Further out, it's more base stuff.
Yeah, definitely. No, I definitely communicate with Koop just because like at first, it'd be kind of weird training for a race like Minotaur where it's like, okay, I need to be able to hike really hard. So then like, I don't know, your coach will give you a workout like, I don't know, like something like 4x8 tempo, 4x10, whatever. And then you got to be race specific, and that requires hiking. So then like at first, like I would text him and be like, yo, like this race is really steep. Like, is it okay if these are hiking? And then he'd be like, yes, please do them hiking. So like you're ready to hike, you know? So yeah. So then like, I guess like preparing for something like the Minotaur where it's a lot of hiking, like I would like on my intensity days, like I would replicate like the intensity, like the terrain that I would be like hitting that intensity at. So like if it was power hiking, like I'd just find like really steep grades in Boulder and just like learn how to mash up them, you know? But then also like replicate like the elevation profile, the grades and stuff like that in your long run, you know, and just be like really thoughtful with movements and stuff like that. Yeah.
Interesting. Your peers regard you as one. I've heard from a lot of people that you are one of the best technical downhillers in the country, if not the world, which is pretty cool. Dude, what the hell do you do for like technical descending? Because I've heard this out of Eli before. Like even on his YouTube video, he's talked about like how like nasty you are at downhill.
Yeah. Thanks, Eli. I don't know. I guess like it's always something that came natural to me. It's funny because like when I did obstacle course racing, like I was out in like a training camp with friends, and then like we just like ripped this downhill, and then I was like, oh. Where like oh, nobody came with me, like, and like I like it's something I guess it's always come natural to me, but I guess like after like I discovered I was good at downhill, like I started like leaning into it more and like figuring out like, okay, how hard can I push this thing? Like, where are my like technical thresholds if like we want to put a word on it, you know? And then you just start leaning into it more, and yeah. But I guess like I like right now I don't do anything specific for it, but like when I was first like discovering it, like I'll just like let it rip like often and just figure out exactly where I was at on different terrain and stuff like that, and just got really comfortable with it. I guess like when I think back to like years ago, like when I would do like a lot of heart rate training, like I would just like, if I was like out in a long run, I would try to like keep my heart rate like at a certain number on downhills, which can be like weirdly challenging, you know, like it forces you to like really get moving. But yeah, like that's one of the things like I did for a couple of years. But like now it's just hard to do that just because like at the time, like when I was doing that, like I wasn't running very like many hours in a week. Yeah. So like I could recover from it. But like now when I think back, like I did have like more injuries than I would have liked. I think maybe partly because of downhill or because like you're in college and like binge drinking all the time and stuff. So
hard to recover from that.
So one or the other, I don't know. But like I guess like now, like going into races, like I have like a kind of like a vague idea of like how fast like the downhills need to be run. So then like just going into that race, like I'll hit like a couple of downhills at that race speed and like see how it feels and whatnot. But like I don't necessarily like do anything like consistently on a weekly basis to like really try and improve that, just because like most races, like even something really technical like Meet the Minotaur, it is your climbing legs that will win the day. Yeah. And I feel like your downhill legs can seal the deal, you know, but like your climbing legs will bring you to the, I guess, to the point that you can really like bury that hatchet, you know? Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. So like I focus more on the climbing, but like, I don't know. Every now and then I do enjoy like letting a downhill rip. Yeah.
It is fun, man.
Yeah. No, there are a couple in Boulder that I'm like, ooh, this one's particularly like I want to say you got to be mindful on this one. So like, yeah, it's cool to like,
consequence.
Yeah, consequential maybe, but like there's some like that like you need to like really be able to move with the terrain rather than just like completely letting it rip from like a try hard perspective, but it's like more of a like a flow with the terrain, which is really cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't really gotten on too many of the Boulder trails, man. I still haven't even done green.
Oh, you got to.
Yeah,
man.
I got to.
Green's like a a special little thing.
Yeah, I looked out the window. It's like
yeah. No, green's cool. I spent a lot of time on green.
Yeah.
There's like so many different ways up, and like it can be like really technical and like demanding, or flowy. But yeah, like it's definitely one of the better training pieces in Boulder, I would say.
One of the things I picked up on your Strava, this was like a while back. This is like this is like this time last year. I noticed that I think it was you and Bailey were going on the incline a bunch. You're coming down the springs.
Yeah, no, definitely. I enjoy the incline a lot.
Love the
incline.
incline.
I think it's like for me, one of like I said before, like I'm working on my climbing a lot. And like the incline's like one of those just like pure engine test pieces that like you have to like be able to run steep grades, but also like hike steep grades really well.
Yeah.
Like you have that middle section with like steps that are like up to your hip.
So hard.
Like I'm not convinced Remy ran those.
Dude, I feel the same way, man.
Like I'm like, he definitely hiked at least 50 steps in there.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
All right, so you're a little bit taller than me. I'm like 5'6" on a good day with shoes. Dude, I was on the incline last night, and I thought the same thing. I'm like, how the hell? Like, you got to be like 6'2" to be able to just step up on those. Yeah.
I don't know, but like, yeah, no, I really like the incline. It's just like this honest test piece, you know. Like,
it is.
Like the only thing that can change on it is weather. Like even if it is like a sheet of ice, like just throw some spikes on, and like I feel like conditions like are pretty consistent on it.
Yeah.
And like it's a good thing for mountain athletes just because like you have to be able to ascend, and like whether you're like a really good hiker or a really good runner, like because I feel like vertical speed comes from like being a really good hiker or like a really good runner, and then you kind of combine the two. And like the incline, it just offers both of those, you know. And it's like people listening might be like, what the fuck, like incline is not runnable. It's like, no, I'm talking about ascending
certain
like going
sections you can
uphill, going uphill. Like for example, like Andy Wacker has a really good time on the incline, and he's like a pure runner. Like he'll prepare for Zagama by running at the Boulder Res, you know. So I feel like the incline's really interesting, and like I definitely want to go out there more, but like sometimes it's hard to justify going out there.
It's far, dude, for you. Yeah.
Well, it's far. And like I just enjoy scrambling so much, and I'm like, oh, I could just like punch it up the second flat iron today instead.
Yeah.
And
get probably similar stimulus.
Yeah. I'd say so. It's a pretty similar burn.
Yeah. Do you know Nick Tusa? He's a buddy of mine. Yeah. Nick's a great guy, but like, dude, he's interesting to me because I know he does the flat irons a lot. He does green all the time, but like, I feel like that flat iron strength he has, like when I go and run with him down like on the incline and stuff like that, like he's a freak on some of these things. So I feel like that stuff translates very well for you older people.
No, definitely. Like I have a couple buddies that are like flat iron specialists, and then like when it's time to hike, I'm like, shit, this guy can move. Just, like, I don't know, some like mountain going uphill in particular, like something really steep, like where it's like you could either run or hike. Like I feel like the scrambling really helps with that.
It does.
Yeah, it's a cool thing to have. Yeah.
So you were telling me before the pod you're getting ready for race in Thailand, right?
Yeah.
Dude, you stoked for that?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm doing the UTMB 50K in Chiang Mai. Should be fun. Yeah, trying to punch a ticket to OCC.
Hell yeah.
And Thailand just seems like a fun place to explore. I'm super excited.
Techie hot trails. What are you doing for heat training? Are you in the sauna at all? Or?
Yeah, I'm in the sauna. But I'm getting there early enough that like I feel like the last like 20-30% of heat training will just happen by being there. But like with a little bit of luck, it'll be cooler, and maybe like just a little bit of rain. That'd be sweet.
Hell yeah. So much humidity, but I guess you're probably fine with that.
I don't know. I hope so. Like, it'll take a lot of hydrating and fueling, but we'll get through it.
I just got back from Hawaii, man, and I was astounded by the humidity. I was like, with the heat. This is so
a real gut punch.
This is wild. This is not Colorado.
Like, I'd much rather take like 10,000 feet and warm than like sea level and just like hot humidity.
Oh, dude, it's rough.
Day of the week. Yeah.
So what are you getting? So you got ready for this race. This is December. Probably have a little bit of a layoff. What do you think for 2025?
Yeah, that's a big question for everyone right now. You know, like it's like, but right now I'm leaning towards trying to do like qualify for Worlds and then go hopefully the Worlds.
That's right.
And go to OCC.
Okay.
So those are my like I guess 3 big targets, because I feel like qualifying for Worlds at Broken Arrow will be like, you just need to be really sharp on that day. And then Worlds and the OCC speak for themselves. They're like queen bees, you know?
I agree.
Yeah. But then like outside of those, I don't know. There are some races that really pique my interest. I'd like to go back to Minotaur. I feel like I could improve my time by a lot there. So that'd be a fun, just like personal project type of deal. But then just like keep increasing my comfort in mountains, really. There's a couple of routes on Longs Peak that I want to get comfortable on, and that I feel like will just open the door for like other ideas I have in the mountains. But just, yeah, I'd say those are like the things that really inspire me right now. Get more just like real rock climbing into, just to like increase my bandwidth of stuff I can do in the mountains. I guess like one of the things that like frustrates me about me is like not having the skills to do certain things in the mountains. I'm like, I love doing all this stuff, but like I feel like I need more and better skills to be able to do more of it, you know? And it's just one of those things. It's kind of like going to school. Like you just got to sit down, learn the systems, go out and like slowly practice them. So like I think, next year that'll be a big focus of mine, just like going out, starting small and slowly building on those mountain systems. But like also like in parallel, like just getting really fit for these races.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a couple more races that I have my eye on, but it's just tricky with like all the travel and the Worlds qualifying and stuff, you know. But we'll see how everything shapes out.
What do you think about Broken Arrow? You'll probably go through the 46K. Is that the plan?
46K. It's a good qualifier. I feel like it's the bare minimum qualifier that'll be required to run in Canfranc. It seems like the Worlds course is going to be closer to the technicality of like I don't want to call it like a really technical sky race but it'll be closer to technicality of something like the rut. But I think step for step, it'll be more technical than the rut, you know? And I don't know if like the most technical section of the World's course will be more technical than the most technical section of the rut, you know?
Right.
And I feel like Broken Arrow, it gives you the altitude, which you'll have at Worlds, but it doesn't give you the terrain.
Which is a bummer.
Yeah. I feel like that could shake up the field a bit, you know, but I feel like mountain running is at the point that like, if you are a really good climber and have good durability and don't fade, that weighs into like qualification a lot more than like having like a really niche skill, you know?
Yeah.
But like, hopefully, that like climbing skill or whoever qualifies is ready for the technicality that might come at Worlds.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that because like I know I just had Tom Hooper on the podcast pretty recently.
Yeah,
it's the soon-to-be race director, and he's got a lot to do with the Worlds selection and things like that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he kind of addressed was how, and I would almost say this for Broken Arrow, because you bring up the point, like the non-technicality of Broken Arrow. It's a fast course. It is a very
fast course. Yeah.
Speedy course. And he kind of brought the same thing up for like the long course that's going to be taking place at Gorge, and how a lot of people kind of were a little, I wouldn't say pissed, but they had things to say about it. They had strong opinions. And as someone that's such a skilled technical runner, it's going to be interesting to see how you match up with like your Brian Whitfields of the world, right? Who's going to be going for something like that, or other like speedy dudes that are very good on non-technical terrain. So it's going to be cool to see that world clash. See who shakes out from
that. Definitely. No, I mean, I've been working on my climbing. Like, I think I'll be fitter than ever when the day comes around. And I think there's just enough technicality on the descending that it'll make a difference for me. But like, we'll see. Like, I don't know, Eli is like a perfectly confident descender, you know, and like a lot of the other guys out there are also, you know. So like I said, like you're going to have to be really sharp. And like for me, it'll have to be like a very good day to qualify. I think it's possible.
But, 100%. Yeah.
it'll require a lot of me and like the best of me. So I'm excited for it.
You should be. I'm excited for you, dude.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I've heard, and I wonder if this takes away from the world's fields. I've heard rumblings. I don't know how true this is because it hasn't been made official yet. If the 23K is a World Series race next year.
Yeah, I've heard rumblings too.
Yeah.
That would be really interesting. But I feel like the main heavy hitters for the 46K would still be there, like
Michelino and all them.
If I had to guess, it's like David Sinclair, Eli, Garrett Corcoran, Michelino has a good chance. If Jack Kunzel decides to show up, like
I've heard. This is another thing I've heard rumblings.
Yeah, like I could see him showing up. It's like I feel like Broken Arrow to me kind of seems like this big science experiment. It's like a lapped course. It's not very rugged, but it's like an interesting like fitness test,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, but like I think Jack Kunzel has it in him to qualify just based off his Jour de Mont result. Yeah, it could be really interesting. Like there's plenty of other guys that definitely have a good chance on that course too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see who shows up for the Ascent, like the VK course as well, because I know they changed it for this year.
Yeah, that's the World's qualifier too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be, and if guys are going to go back to back, which I'm sure people will.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like that double for Cam Smith is like nothing. You'd be like, okay. Yeah. Same for Eli. I don't know. A lot of the Golden Trail people, they've done like lots of stage racing, high intensity. So I feel like it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I don't think that having the Golden Trail World Series race will change the fields that much, because there is very much like a dichotomy of like, okay, like I run like up to Sierras and all and down,
right?
Especially for like US guys, like a lot of the guys that do like Sierras and all and down, like they don't even go to Zagama or Marathon of Mont Blanc.
Right, it's too long.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, I feel like the absolute main contenders for the 46K are still slightly different than the 23K guys. There are some guys that overlap really well, but I think they'll be focusing on the 46K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, man. I can't wait to see.
Definitely.
And same with the up down as well. Sunapee is going to be dope in early June.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's either way, I think
it's a looped course, right?
I think it is a loop course. Yeah, 2 loops or something like that. Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah, I don't know what the world's classic course is, but I know it's steep. It's like 4,000 feet of climbing and like 7 miles or 8 miles.
It's wild.
So that'll be really cool.
Pyrenees is dope, dude. It's going to be, the whole thing is going to be cool to see. You think you'll go back to the rut next year, or is that going to be too close to OCC?
I think it's too close to Worlds if Worlds happens for me.
That's true too, yeah.
But like if Worlds doesn't happen for me, then like, I'd really like to go back to the rut. Like personally, I want to go sub 3 hours on that course. I think I have it in me. It'll take there's obviously development to be had, it's like, it's no secret where I'm at. But like, I think like it's definitely possible in my lifetime as an athlete.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
And if, dude, you what is this? 4 times you've done it now, you said?
Yeah.
So 5th time's a charm,
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah.
So one of the things that blew me away, I see you post a lot of videos too of being in the gym. And I had just had Cam on the podcast, and he was like, he spends like 4 or 5 hours in the gym a week or something like that.
Oh,
like he's in the gym a ton.
Yeah.
How much time do you lift? And like, how much of that is a part of your training regime?
Yeah. So I call it like lifting 1.5 times a week. Because like once a week, it's like a properly heavy dose in the gym, where you're like really loading muscles, bones, tendons, and like creating a big stimulus. And the other half time is like, just something smaller at home, like whether it's with kettlebells or like just like accumulating time under tension, like an isometric holds or whatever. So I don't know, not 4 to 5 hours. Well, I guess if you count climbing gym time, but like that's not what we're talking about. But,
are you in the climbing gym too?
Yeah, like once or twice a week. But like I guess proper lifting, maybe like 3 hours a week in the gym. But it's like really focused. Like I don't really dilly dally. Like when I go hard, it's like a proper dose, I just don't believe in like some like the smaller stuff that a lot of people spend a lot of time on, I guess if you have like a really niche, like soft tissue injury, then you got to do like some really small stuff. But like for like a really robust, like, response, to create change in your muscles and tendons, like you're better with like short and sweet and heavy, really.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
What kind of lifts are you doing? Like, heavy squat, heavy deadlifts?
Yeah, like I do like it varies. So it's generally like we fluctuate between like 3 lifts like over the course of like I don't know 4 to 6 weeks. So like 1 week we do lift A, week 2 we do lift B, and then like that third lift is like that half lift I was talking about, and then we kind of like alternate between the 3 of them. But then that's like it's heavy deadlifts or like some sort of like heavy plyo, whether it's like jumping off like a box and like taking the landing, or like multiple jumps off of one leg, just like creating high impact situations in a safe environment, or just like really heavy lunges of some sort. It's like a wide variety of stresses, or it's like a heavy what is it, leg press type thing, like a hack squat or like a pendulum squat.
All lower? Are you doing all lower body stuff, or do you do upper body as well, or is that just
I do some upper body, like some pull-ups here and there. Like I guess Turkish get up is like kind of like a whole body thing. And like just climbing. Yeah.
Because you're like, I mean, you're built kind of like I am. Like you're a little bit of a bigger dude probably from Spartan races, right? Or is it just genetics?
I don't know. I guess like part of it might be genetic. But like I also like when I played soccer in Spartan races, I did a lot more upper body.
Yeah.
And like honestly, like right now I do like the bare minimum upper body stuff, but like it just like doesn't leave, which is fine. Like, I don't know. John Albin's like built in a similar way, and he seems to make it work just fine.
Oh, dude, you just hung with him. I forgot I saw that on Strava. What the hell was that like?
Oh, it was great. We go way back from obstacle course racing.
Okay.
So it's always fun to like cross paths. But like, he stayed with me in Boulder a couple of days. And I showed him around the Flatirons, and it was a blast. We vibed pretty well together. We did a couple of link ups and like went climbing a couple times. And that was, it was fun.
What? So he's like one of those, like, he's like a mythical figure, like to someone like me who doesn't know him, right?
Yeah.
Is it like, is he off the charts fit? Like, how does that work? Like, or is he just like on your level? Like, how does that work? Like,
well, I mean, his results speak for themselves.
Right.
So, like, I think his results put him in the off the chart fit place. I think his UTMB index is like, it's like right there with Jim Walmsley.
Yeah.
So like,
is it that astounding? Like when you train with him, then like that noticeable?
I guess like when he was here, he was basically like the focus was like to scramble and hang out together, but like I have seen him do training sessions, like because I visited him in Norway before that. I was like, okay, like what the fuck?
Right. That's what I was getting at. I was like,
definitely. But like, I think he's unique in the way that he's like able to really look at the race he's targeting. Well, he's unique also in the way that he has like years of training under his belt. So now like he's able to look at a race he's targeting, look at the physiology he needs to be successful at that race, and then look at the physiology he has and create the training environment he needs to be successful, So I think that's where he's better than everyone else, and he's like obviously like forged himself into like a very, very competent climber, and like just like runner in general. But like for many years, like especially when he did skyrunning, like in 2019, before that, like he wasn't the best climber in the field. He was really good at descending, and he would kind of just like constantly like come back at the like to the closer to the front of the race, because at that time he wasn't like winning like every single race. He was like really fighting tooth and nail, but like over the years he's really developed as a climber, which is awesome to see. But he definitely has workouts and like runs that I'm like, okay, what the fuck?
Yeah. Dude, I mean, like I said, he's like this mythical figure. It's crazy. And then to see him like in Boulder, just like hanging out and doing shit, I was like,
no, it was really cool seeing him just moving in the mountains, because like he's just so comfortable. Like obviously like Boulder has some like really niche like slab scrambling that he was like, oh wow, this is so different. But like he's just like so comfortable in just like mountainous terrain, which is really cool to see. It's inspiring. It's fun.
It's cool to me because like you're in this process of achieving this like upper level of the sport is there anything like you picked up from him? You're like, oh, I can apply that.
I guess like the one thing that I really like about John is that he is like crazy passionate about his process, you know, and he believes in it to the core. And I feel like anyone out there training, like whoever you're training with, whatever your training system is, like I hesitate to say this, but like if you're like truly passionate and believe in it to the core, it'll most likely work, you know. But there are some training systems out there that are like, they probably won't work because, but like within reason, like I think John, what makes John like so strong is like that he truly like over the years he's developed like a really robust like self-esteem in racing, but then like also in like his ability to train and like to have like fun in his training too. So I think that's something I picked up like is just like truly like believe in your process, and like you shouldn't be ashamed of believing in your process, you know. You need to have passion for your process in order to be successful, you know, and like there's no shame in that, you know. And if like people are making you feel ashamed about that, then fuck them, like simple as that. Yeah. It's like,
love that.
Yeah. Like if you want to hang, like you got to be passionate for what you do and like love what you do, and like you can't let like, I don't know, people that are insecure about their process like bring you down. Like, you shouldn't have time for that. Like, yeah.
Let me ask you this. So now that you've kind of achieved this, like now you're running for TNF, like you've got like this life in this, do you feel pressure at all?
I guess like I don't necessarily feel pressure from TNF, but like I do feel like a pressure from myself to like keep working towards my potential and achieving like what I believe I can achieve, you know? So like some days like I really get in my own head as in like just like wanting to get there quicker, you know, but then like I kind of like reel myself back and like focus on what matters, which is like being passionate for my process and like putting myself in an environment that allows me to like just be myself and be stoked for what I do, you know? But yeah, like there can, like at times I do feel that pressure, like, oh, I need to do this, like be better at races or like, and stuff like that. But then like, then I kind of like, I've learned to reel it back, you know, like I did have like, when I was doing obstacle course racing, like I did, I guess in 2019, I kind of like popped off at a couple races, showed up to Worlds, like basically shot the bed. And then like things kind of just like spiraled a bit. So I guess, right now, like it's to like keep growing and then like, yeah, keep growing, you know, just take ownership of where I am in the sport and like keep growing, like regardless of where that is, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess like, I don't feel intense amounts of pressure. Like now, like when I show up to start lines, like I'm generally at peace with like what I've done to prepare for it, you know, like it doesn't feel like I'm cramming for races by any means. And it's like I'm pretty comfortable, like, and I have a vague idea of where I'm at, but like, it's more like, really just being able and learning how to like squeeze every ounce out of myself on that given day.
Yeah.
You know, which is like an art in itself.
It is. Racing's, and that's something, dude, I feel like I learned that more this year than any other year. Racing at a higher competition level, it's like you actually learn, especially like Cirque Series races. Yeah. Because it's so short, you have to learn how to, you actually have to know how to race.
You have like 3 minutes after the gun goes off to decide like,
what am I doing?
How committed you are that day. Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy the process? Because this is me. Like I enjoy the process more than I enjoy racing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you?
Definitely. Yeah.
You seem so dialed, so that's why it's interesting to me.
Yeah. No, I love the process. I love every. Like there's certain parts of the process that I'm like, oh yeah, this is kind of annoying. But like for like the most part, like I'm like, I love like the way I train, and like the things I do to support my training. And yeah, it gets me stoked, like putting together that puzzle. And because I feel like every puzzle is different. It's got to be like a puzzle you're excited by. And you got to just give yourself space and be patient to like, I don't know, make those puzzle pieces fit together. Yeah. Yeah. But like, yeah, I'd say like my day-to-day training is what really gets me more stoked. And then like the race itself is like icing on the cake, I guess. Yeah.
What's your relationship with competition?
Yeah, it's like I'm very competitive.
Are you like one of those people, like I can't have someone even pass me on a hike if I'm hanging out with my wife?
Oh no, I don't give a shit about that. Yeah. Like I guess like I'm competitive on race day, you know, like I guess like if I'm running in a group of guys and they decide to like go hammer up a climb, like I'll let them go, because that's just not my day to hammer.
Yeah.
But like some days, like I'll mess around and like go with it, you know.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I've had an interesting relationship with like racing and like that competitive side because like, yeah, when my obstacle course racing career kind of like hit the shitter, and like I was completely overtrained and like overstressed and like nothing I did like wasn't making me fit, but like I kept showing up to races and like I just couldn't compete, you know, and it's just like such a shitty feeling when you're like when you just can't do the thing that you thought you were really good at, you know, but there's like nothing there, you know. So then that like my ego like took like a really big hit and I was like, oh, maybe like I'm just not here for this, you know. And then like I went to the rut last year and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give myself a chance and just go for it, you know. And then like that was like a big step forward like in my self-esteem. And then this year too, like it's like it was all about like just giving myself the chance, letting myself feel that competitive edge that like I had for so many years, like playing soccer and like in obstacle course racing, and then like kind of like building on itself. And like I guess like at the rut this year, it was like it was really cool to see, like to be able to run with like Scott Patterson, like go back and forth with him, and just like get that like competitive edge back, you know, that like that fire to like just go back and forth and like play the game, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess like now like I'm at a point that like I'm psyched, like when I do race, like I'm psyched to like compete with other people, and that's really fun. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, but like I guess like in day-to-day training, like I'm not super competitive. Like I do what I got to do to be the best I can be, like on race day and like in years to come and stuff. Yeah.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a little turn here because I'm just truly interested by it. You've got this business. What is it? What is the... What is
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Tell me
I
about
have
this.
a little business. So in Brazil, we eat these wraps. They're made out of tapioca flour, which is made out of yuca's root. And in Brazil, they're really popular. We eat them on a daily basis with like, just like as bread, you know, like instead of bread, they'll eat just little tapioca wraps. And then, yeah, like I sell them like on my website and,
What's it called?
my website?
Yeah.
It's just johnnylunalima.com. But
Okay,
like
okay.
the business itself is Johnny's Mountain Wraps.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
And then like my favorite way to do it is just like I take some of the flour, mix it with an egg, and then it makes a little crepe. And then that crepe can be eaten like sweet or savory. And it's actually like really good like fuel for like before and during training, especially if you have like a longer day, because it's like pure carbs, literally pure carbs. And it's easy on the stomach. And yeah, it's just versatile. Like you can make it into like a really big crepe and just kind of like lather Nutella on it and just eat it on the bike or like
That sounds
hiking.
amazing.
And yeah, that's basically the gist of it. But like, yeah, it's definitely a staple and just like what I eat on a daily basis, or a weekly basis. Like I don't eat it every single day. Like,
It's so dope though. I don't know. It's kind of cool that you started like your own business with it and like it's like a thing. Yeah. I mean, I'll link to it in the show notes so we can drive some people to come check it out.
I meant to bring some down, but like, yeah,
It's all good. It's all good. I'll order some. It's definitely. It sounds good. What is your diet like, dude? Because you're in tremendous shape, so you're gonna be eating pretty clean, right?
Yeah, diet. I guess like, yeah. No, I took some time to really get that dialed with Vic Johnson. I feel like everyone works with Vic Johnson nowadays. Yeah.
Popular dude.
Yeah. No, really good guy. But like people are gonna roll their eyes. Like it's just like lots of carbs. Like, but like no, I do try to keep it like pretty clean. Like I get most of my carbs like I bake my own bread, so I get a lot of carbs from there.
Big sourdough guy?
Yeah.
Same.
And then lots of rice and pasta, and I make my own pizza dough. I feel like those are my main carb sources. Oh, maple syrup and dates too. But
So you're not a sugar guy then? You pretty much like eliminate all processed sugars, anything like that?
yeah, I guess I don't eat that much processed sugar. Yeah. Yeah, I don't necessarily pour cane sugar into my stuff. But
Definitely want to avoid that.
yeah. But yeah, no, like I definitely get like good dose of veggies twice a day, and enough protein, 140 to 150 grams a day or so. I don't know, depends.
Do you eat meat or?
Yeah,
You do?
yeah, I eat meat. And then just like try to make it like a variety of carbs, like beans. I know that's a good protein source too, but I try to keep that in the mix a couple times a week too. Yeah, like simple foods, but just like the biggest thing is just like getting enough, because I've like had points that like I'm just like I feel like beginning of this year, like I was eating enough, but like just like too much protein rather than like just pure carbs.
Yeah.
And like that shift alone has made a huge difference for me. Just being able to sleep better, and then like I do like a lot of back-to-back training days, so like threshold one day, threshold the next day, or threshold into like a long run, or like threshold into threshold with a long run type stuff. So then like just making that shift to like having my diet, like I don't know, in a day be like the macro distribution being like 65% carbs in a day or so.
Yeah.
That's made a huge difference, and just like making sure the calories are there too. Yeah, like on big training days it can be kind of odd, but
You gotta eat, man. I mean, that's the thing. I think my thing too is like, I don't know. I see a lot of peers. They're like stick figures, dude.
Yeah.
So you automatically think
I
in your
call them
head.
jockeys.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my God, how do I get that? Like, cause I think you probably feel similar. Like you're a bigger dude muscularly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I see that in my head and I'm like, oh, like I think power weight ratio, in order to be faster uphill, I have to be as light as possible. That's not necessarily true.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely like, I don't know, like if you're meant to be, if your sweet spot is like 150 pounds and like you're like 170 pounds, like, yeah, that is not going to work.
Right.
But like if you're meant to be 150 pounds and you're 130 pounds, like you're just going to break your bones. You're going to be brittle. You're going to have a shitty career, and you're going to have a shitty like life in general, just because like you're probably not eating enough. Yeah, you constantly have broken bones, and you probably can't get a boner. And it's just like
It's fucking true.
So yeah, I mean, no, yeah, I feel like it's no secret in our sport, like especially like, yeah, like the power to weight ratio is like a conversation, that's very real, but like, yeah, like too light is not the answer, not anymore, and I feel like it's, I like to think like that thought process is going away, but I guess it's hard being like in the US especially, where collegiate running is one of the filters into trail running now.
Yeah.
Where like there are a lot of old school coaches, and like a lot of these kids' heroes are like old school runners where like they were super lean, but for some reason they never got injured or whatever, but like it's hard. So like a lot of times kids see like, oh, this guy's super skinny, like I need to look like that.
Right.
And that's just not the reality of it. Like you got to be strong in order to train. In order to be good, you got to train a lot, and you got to train a lot for many years. In order to train a lot for many years, you got to eat like a champion and recover like a champion. In order to recover like a champion, you got to eat like a champion, which lets you sleep like a champion, So,
No, dude, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Well, you got to produce power. And that's the thing. Like, if you're undernourished, you're not producing power.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Maybe you might be able to produce power for like one day, But like, I don't know, you'll just end up injured, and like other guys that were taking care of themselves for many years are just going to like blow past you, and they earned it too, because they're taking care of themselves and like giving themselves justice, So, yeah.
I agree. Dude, that's a great answer, by the way. Appreciate that.
Yeah. No, like I'm with you. Like
For sure. Well, dude, we're at an hour already. I feel like I could talk to you for days, man. You got good insights. But I don't want to take all your evening. Start getting to the winding down questions now.
Yeah. No stress. I have time.
Curious to see who inspires you.
Who inspires me? I guess like like John Alvin's inspiration, like that common ground in obstacle course racing, and him slowly like chipping away and changing his training system to be able to race with the best in the world in the mountains. That's inspiring. I guess from like a idol standpoint, like Anton Kaprichka is really cool. Just his versatility in the mountains, I feel like he really, all the injuries he's had in his career are really shitty. It would have been really cool to see him like really run to his potential more. Yeah. But like I admire his versatility in scrambling and just like being able to run and all that.
Do you ever train with him at all?
No.
Is he like a solo kind of? I've never met him actually.
I don't know, but like, I don't know. To me, is like, I feel like, why would he want to scramble with me? It's easy. He'd be like, okay, he'd need to bring like a leash to like make sure I'm moving faster.
Is he that good? Like,
oh yeah, no, he's legit. He's like super smooth and like, he's able to link things up just like super smooth. So. No, he's legit at scrambling.
So there's like really serious levels to this, because I always feel like you're the guy who's showing everybody else how to scramble.
I'm learning, man.
On the running scene.
I'm learning.
I saw that video of like Eli and Tabor, and you like have them out, and like Tabor's afraid to like jump off this like thing. It was really fun.
The diving board's a real thing.
I've never been on, so I
don't shit on the diving board, man. No, Anton's really cool. Obviously, like Killian's versatility in the mountains and running is like incredible, and I guess like having like scrambled a bit more these past 2 years, like has been really cool to like be able to put things into perspective. Just like how versatile he really is absolutely incredible. Yeah, I mean, Ryan Atkins is really cool from a perspective of just longevity. Like he did a great job of growing with the sport of obstacle course racing and always like being at the spear point of it. So that's like sick to see, like real strong. Different obstacle course racer. He's like a real OG. Hobie Call, his son.
Yeah, Hawk,
on
dude.
The scene. Hawk Call.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Hawk.
Dude, I am.
Like,
if I'm buying stock,
if you have a mentor like Hobie Call in your corner, shit. Yeah, no, Hawk is really good, and he's only gonna improve. But like his dad, Hobie, legit. Like I think he ran a 2:15 marathon, and then like it's really too bad that obstacle course racing didn't come around earlier, because like I think Hobie only started winning world championships when he was like 39 or 40. Wow. Or something like that. So like just really strong, and just like also another guy that is just like pure belief in his process and like just stoked to be there. Yeah, I feel like those guys really stand out for me. I'm definitely missing a couple, like Kyle Richardson in Boulder. Like his speed records in the flat irons are sick, and his longs peak is really cool. Yeah, I guess I push and pull for like inspiration depending on the day and what I'm doing. Manuel Marias is really cool. Just like very versatile. Just like incredible descender, but can also hold his own on the climbs.
Have you ever raced him or met him?
Raced him?
Yeah, right.
No, I've never met him.
He's an interesting guy. Cool follow. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's really cool. His dog is.
His dog's dope. Yeah.
His dog is very versatile in the mountains too.
You see him like pulling the dog up the.
Yeah, just pulling his dog up like steep snowfields. And I'm like, oh shit. Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like, yeah, those guys really stand out to me. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. What's your walkout song, bro?
Walkout song?
Yeah.
Jeez, I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you. I'm gonna have to leave that one in blank.
Yeah.
I guess like if I were whoever's like editing the video with the walkout song or whatever, like I'd want them to spend time with me and then like present like songs that
Multiple songs.
that like, and then I could choose one.
Okay.
Thing. Yeah.
Interesting. What's your, like, do you have like a race day? Anything on race day you're listening to, or?
No, I don't listen to anything. I guess like race day, it's more like just mental checklists. Like, okay, like what's my mantra going to be? What's like just like remembering like the training I've done and like specific pieces that I feel like I need to lean into in training or on race day from training, and just like remembering details like that and just like being at peace with things. Yeah.
I like that. All right, last question. It's a silly one. What's your take on the aliens?
Aliens?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope they're real, man.
Me too.
I hope they're real. That'll make things so much more interesting.
Right. I mean, dude, things are already wild.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
get
Like I wouldn't mind for like aliens to appear when I'm like 43 or something.
43. That's a very specific age.
Well, I feel like until then, like there's a lot of stuff like I want to do in the mountains, but like by the time I'm 43, I'm like, oh, maybe this isn't as attractive anymore in the mountains. But like aliens would be sick. Then.
Aliens would be sick.
Yeah.
All right. One last question. This is actually a serious one. This might take a little bit, but I was very curious of this because one of the things you brought up several times is your potential.
Yeah.
What do you think is your potential in the sport?
Oh man. Yeah. No, I believe like with time, I have a shot at a podium at OCC and Worlds. Like I feel like, yeah, my climbing's not there, but like I have a big piece of the puzzle. And it's just giving myself time and like playing my training in a way that like allows me to develop and stay stoked. And like I think with time I can run with the best of them. Like I don't know if OCC or like is the race or like maybe Zagama or something, you know, but I feel like a piece of me definitely has that in there. People might think I'm crazy, but like, hey, you don't need to hang with me. I don't care.
Well, dude, the reason I say that is because if I'm buying stock, I'm definitely buying Johnny Luna Lima stock. Like,
I appreciate it.
For sure,
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like just time and stoke. That's the equation. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. It's been fun and it'll only get more fun.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I really look forward to following your journey and hope this isn't the last time we hang out. So
yeah, no, definitely. Thanks for having me.
Dude, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. What'd you guys think? What a fun episode. Want to thank Johnny so much for coming on the podcast. Like I said, we dove into a lot of really good little tidbits and little nuggets of information there that I, like as an athlete, that I can just really appreciate. Like I said, we talked about, all the time in the gym, just everything you could possibly do to make yourself better and get yourself 1% better every day. And it seems like Johnny is just checking those boxes. And you know what? I'm buying stock in Johnny Luna Lima. I truly do believe he is one of the best in the country and will continue to cement himself, if not eventually become one of the best in the world. So excited to see his career develop and grow, as he kind of navigates his way through the sport. So, guys, before you get going, do me a favor, hop on Instagram and let's get Johnny a follow. His Instagram is pretty simple. Johnny, Johnny, Luna, Una, Lima. Give that handle a follow. There's also some other little things on there on his Instagram to give a follow. We talked a little bit about his little startup company that he's got called Johnny's Mountain Wraps, which are these really delicious little tapioca wraps that Johnny has. So give that a follow and put in an order if you're looking for some low carb, healthy, non-processed stuff that looks pretty delicious. So yeah, give that a follow as well. That's all I got for you guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your long runs. Get in some hard training this week, and yeah, hope you enjoy the pod. Before you finally get going, do me a favor. Hop on not Strava. Jesus. Hop on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube. Give us a rating and a review, guys. 5 stars would be amazing. That's how I can share this with the world. And that would be great. So have a great rest of your week. Thanks so much.